Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Tone Talk with Mark Uzansky and Dave Friedman. It's episode 158. Tonight, we're joined by Mick Mars, known for his legendary and iconic work with Motle Cre and his most recent solo album, The Other Side of Mars. Mick, how you doing? Great to have you on the show.
I'm great, man. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Doing awesome. And we've got Chris Collier, who's also worked with Mick on his last album, played bass, and also I heard you mixed and mastered it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And he's also worked with Korn, Whitesnake, Lynch Mob, KXM, a whole bunch of other bands, and it's great to have you both on the show. Thanks, guys.
Oh,
you got it.
Anytime, man.
Yeah, awesome. I know tonight we're gonna have probably a lot of people watching. And we'll have super chats. So we'll jump into the super chats in a little bit. Guys, just be patient in the who are watching. I hope everybody's doing well out there in YouTube land. It's funny. I just saw someone say they're going to be watching this on their big screen. And I was like, oh, really? God. Yeah. I'm like, wow. On me on the big screen, that scares the crap out of me.
That's putting the faces much too large.
Yeah. Like, wow. The coloring is bad. I'm just like, oh, that scares me. But anyway,
back here.
and I mean, I'm not the youngest person on the planet.
Yeah, we're in
like color in their house.
We're in like high definition right now. So, but anyway, guys, it's great to have you on. Before I dive into the interview and talking to Mick and Chris, I want to talk about our sponsors real fast. We've got Sweetwater, and Sweetwater we have an affiliate link on all of our videos that shares their link, and if you purchase anything, then you go ahead and help give back to our channel. This month is Guitar Month, so which is September, so you can save up to 50% on top brands. As a matter of fact,
I kind of like that guitar right in the middle.
Yeah, that is a cool guitar.
That's the Wolfgang one. It looks
which
like.
one?
Oh, the SA-126 or the
no, I don't think that is. That's the isn't that a Fender Starcaster, some sort of variation of it?
Oh, right.
Wait a minute.
Oh, you got one?
I think
He's
something like
show and
this.
tell.
I think something like this is maybe
Better.
it's
So what is that? That's a
Festa Red, like that one is.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you got that.
This is one of 6. Number one.
From the custom shop, or
So it's number. Let me see. They only made 6 of these. This is number 5.
cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's a custom shop Fender guitar?
No,
Original?
I'm pretty sure that it is. It was pretty healthy lump that I spent.
It's cool though.
That's awesome.
I love Fiesta Red.
Oh yeah. So guys, make sure you check out Sweetwater for Guitar Month, please. And we also check out the Nick Bocott guitar if you guys haven't seen that. Okay. And make sure you check out fixpedalboards.com as well. Dave, if you want to tell them all about Fix Pedal Boards.
For all your little pedal board accessory needs and little pedal lifts and interface boxes and all sorts of fun stuff.
Yep. As well as Thomann.com for everybody out in Europe. Okay. If you check out our link below and let us know if just check them out, whatever products they're selling. And I'd love to know what you guys are purchasing from them too. That would be great if you guys ever check out their links.
I'm going to add one more thing before we start in here. Also, come Monday, there is for the Friedman IRX and IRD, there is brand new crazy good software coming out. So it's a new editor, new software, and greatly improved MIDI CC numbers, things that people have been asking for, better power amp simulation, better better everything, just richer, and including a low pass filter. So you can do a lot with it. It comes out Monday. We'll talk about it more maybe on Monday or something. Maybe we'll do a little thing on Monday about it.
Okay, I'm around.
Yeah.
That works. That works. All right. So cool. Mick and Chris, you guys are out in Nashville. That's where you're at right now?
Yes.
And you're working on the follow-up to the Other Side of Mars album. Is that what I understand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, I know both Dave and I were big fans of the album that came out. It came out last year. Is that in 20 or earlier this year? When did the album come out?
The album was released on February 23rd.
Okay, so it was this year. Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm losing track of time, man.
Yeah, like I think I said privately, I go, when that came out, I was like, fuck yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Just super heavy but real musical and great songs, and it's just
diverse what do you call it? Diverse songwriting styles.
Yeah.
Which is like, I didn't want to be locked into this,
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you were mentioning before in the article from Guitar World, they were like, there's going to be a blues album, but no, man, it's hard.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Never
heavy.
know. My next one could be metal blue. I don't know, metal blues, or I don't know. I just have fun with stuff.
Were you was a lot of, or are these songs written previously to to making the album? Like it was something you'd been working on for a long time, or were you just like, I just want to get in there and start writing some new stuff?
On this particular record?
On the Other Side of Mars.
First one.
Oh, the Other Side of Mars, I was working on up until quite a while, yeah. So I had a lot of ideas that were like maybe a couple bars that were good, and then rebuilt the song or that kind of thing, and trying to get out of what I was locked into style of writing to my own.
Yeah, make it your own. Yeah.
Yeah, make it Mars, and so yeah.
So what today we're on Friday the 13th, and there's a significant 13 is a significant number for you, it seems.
Yeah.
So what's with 13 for you? I know what it is for me because I was born on Friday the 13th.
Oh, it's my initials, 1313, Mick Mars. So it's tattooed right here.
Yeah.
Huh.
Right.
Wow. Well, that does. I didn't know that. Wow. So,
yes.
I didn't do
a lot of people ask me that question in real. Yeah.
That's cool. That's very cool. We didn't plan that. You didn't just get the tattoo for today. I know that.
I just ran across a photo when I was going through I don't know what it was, Instagram or one of those, that I'm sitting in a chair after the gig getting this tattoo.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Found it today. So I went like, okay, cool.
Oh, that worked out.
I snagged it, of course.
Right.
Yeah. For sure.
So now that you're working on this new record with Chris, and Chris, you're playing bass again, I assume?
For now, yeah.
Yeah, for now, or
I might end up being the guy still again, but you never know. We might have some guest people come in. We don't know. It's all up in the air right now. It's like pretty fresh right now. So.
So
okay.
this is like pre-production kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We're having a lot of fun.
Yes, indeed.
That's awesome.
Experimenting, making new stuff. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I like to hear that, because a lot of people, a lot of musicians don't want to create after they've had a really long career and stuff, and I never quite understand that. Isn't that sort of what it's all about? I mean, it's the writing a song or making, a new song
Yeah.
That's what it's sort of all about, isn't it?
That's what I always thought.
You know,
Why do
I
you
don't-
want to repeat yourself and sound like your last album?
And also, even if you don't, you know, these days might not make any money at it, obviously, but just putting out an album for your creative side,
Mhm.
it's easy to do these days. It's much easier to do for like even the average
Oh, yeah.
person. Even they can put out music.
Mhm.
Seems just like so many artists though just stop. They stop creating. You know, just like I don't.
Well, I don't.
Yeah.
I have. It has to be different.
Mhm.
You know, like I've said this before. Like on this record that I did, The Side of Mars, was, you know, my first step to where my mind is. Especially when you do like when you listen to songs like Undone
Mhm.
and Killing Breed and some of those kind of songs like that. I'll always have the bangers, but those songs are more of the place where I want to go.
Mhm.
So on this next album, what we're working on now, Chris and I, is a level up. It's a step up from the next level. In other words, what I try to do is to take Mick Mars fans with me.
Right.
And with going with me, like when I do the album, is I get ahead of myself sometimes, but it's like a journey.
Yeah.
You know, you sit down and put on the record, it takes you places that you,
Mhm.
and the same with this one, but leveled up.
Wow. Can't
More-
wait then.
more.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot different. It's a lot different from what you're hearing. There's going to be sprinkles of what you heard on the other side of Mars, but there's going to be stuff you're not going to expect. So
Oh, man,
Okay.
you
I'm in.
we
It's-
were just listening to influences today on Apple Music. So I mean, we're just going through stuff. We want to do a song like this. I'm like,
yeah,
let's do it. So
yeah.
Oh,
And are
it's got to be fun for you, Chris. It's got to be it's like, oh yeah, let's try it.
oh yeah, I'm all about experimentation, especially with him, because when I first met him, it was like you could see the passion and still wanting to create. And you know how you mentioned like after this 40-year career, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people just want to hang it up. No, he wants to keep going. He's
Yeah.
gonna go till he drops. You can just totally.
Well, that's what keeps you going still, right?
Yeah.
Writing anyway. I mean, touring is a bit difficult, but
Yeah,
Right.
no, I
you know,
understand.
writing,
Yeah.
writing is like there's a lot of stuff going on in my brain. A
Mhm.
lot of stuff that I can't pull out. This guy can pull it out, and I go
Mhm.
like, well, it's kind of like. You go, oh, okay, like this. Yep.
Yeah, I kind of grew up in a spot where like I had to produce things quickly for people, and if it was good, cool. If it wasn't, oh well, you know, we'll try something different.
Yeah.
So our chemistry is just really good, and whatever he's feeding me,
Yeah.
and then I'm able to just 9 times out of 10,
Yeah.
I can create it for him. And then you know, obviously, sometimes he'll come up and be like, okay, let's try this. This is weird, but let's try this. So
Yeah.
we just work really well together.
Yeah.
I like the vibe of that, and just hearing that even that's great.
Mhm.
You know.
And is Michael Wagener involved as well, or is that-
Not on this one, but
okay?
it's funny that you asked that, but not funny. You know, it's like
Oh, okay.
when Michael first came, when I first met him, he was fresh from Germany, and I met him through Udo
Mhm.
Schneider, which is like he's friends with Don Dokken.
Mhm.
And so overcome Udo and Michael to where I was living, right around the corner from Don. And that's how I met him. The band I was in that time was a cover band, but we had some originals that we wanted to record. Do you know anybody? Blah, blah, blah? Yeah, Michael Wagener. And then we went to, so he recorded that little thing from there. But when I left that band and started Motle Cre, I brought him in on that. and his name just exploded. Started doing like all of these people and stuff like us and Skid Row and all so many people back then. And we've been like best buds for a long time. But now that I've gone full circle, he did my very first record,
Mm-hmm.
and he did my last, his last.
Mm-hmm.
So he won't be recording with me, but boy, I mean first and last. God, I have a hard time talking.
That's all right.
He did my very first album, Motle Cre, and then went through all that stuff.
And then your last album.
My album, Other Side of Mars, is the last album that he recorded with me. So he went full circle.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think he retired. He
sold everything. He sold his studio and sold everything. I know Michael.
I had no idea. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know Michael on and off for years.
Yeah.
Originally, we were trying to get him on the show a long time ago, but at the time he was too busy. But I hope he's doing well, because I don't have any way to contact him now.
Yeah.
Is he still down in Nashville area? Or?
Oh, yeah. He's about 20 minutes from me.
Oh, great.
That's cool.
I don't know. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, but yeah.
Okay. No, well, that's great. That's great. Cool. I can't wait to hear their new stuff. And are you using the same gear relatively that you used on the last album, the Jose Marshall and your Isabella Strat?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. But
okay.
I think
will be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not quite there yet, but
yeah. I'm just using, like, what can I say? Plastic guitar. Not like a real amp. It's just like,
right.
A modeler or something, or plug-in.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to write the stuff, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, an XFX too.
Yeah, quick to write and stuff, and then
that makes
record
sense.
the real parts later.
Yep.
Yeah.
The real stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, that leads me to one of my first questions. I don't know, Dave, if you had anything you wanted to lead off with.
Well, go ahead. You started.
I wanted to start off talking about your Jose, and kind of go back and understand how did you meet Jose, and how did you end up having your amps modified by him? Because I think there were a few of them that were modified by him, right, over the years.
I have I think 4 that I have modified by him.
Mm-hmm.
You sold one,
and I met him through Rudy Sarzo, not Rudy Sarzo.
Rudy Laren.
Rudy Laren.
I know his name was Rudy.
Rudy Laren.
He was,
Rudy Laren.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was your tech at one point in time, wasn't he?
Tech for a long time.
Yeah.
And then he came to me and introduced me to Jose. So that's where those came from. And I still used them. Actually, I used one to do
I think that's one.
the Dr. Feelgood. I still have that head from there too.
Well, one of the amps I think you sold to Richard Fortis.
Yes. I think that's his name.
And yeah, that was it. And that was supposedly the Dr. Feelgood amp.
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
The one that I sold him was much cleaner. Is that the one that
had all the holes in the front?
Okay.
All the holes in the front that Rudy supposedly.
I almost beat the hell out of that guy. Not the guy that bought it, but the guy that drilled the holes. He was a tech at that time. Stripped my amps down, drilled those holes in. I was about to lose it. I was so mad. I was so mad. But yeah.
Yeah, that amp. There was a picture. I think a picture of you playing that amp with the holes in it at the US Festival or something. And I later worked on that amp for Richard and actually documented it too. So,
yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
and it's kind of interesting. There's I'll tell you about it later, but there's something coming up that's kind of interesting. So
Okay, cool.
about that, but not here, not in the air.
Okay. But yeah, so the Jose's were that was like part of your signature sound. I mean, that was your signature sound, I guess, I imagine, over
Yes.
the years.
Yeah. Yes, because I was using good Lord. Before I met him as Jose and stuff, I just had a stock standard Marshall
Mhm.
that I bought off of Don, and so I had like an LTV one,
Mm-hmm.
which I secretly stuck behind everything so nobody could see what was going on, and the master volume was in the back.
Okay, someone
I had
added it.
everything on the front end all the way up, except for the mid range, and all the cool stuff in behind. And that's where that sound started. And then Rudy came in, introduced me to Jose. Then, pow, all these. I started buying every Marshall head I could find,
All right.
and I still have some left.
Yeah.
And what year is that? What year do you recall? Was that like?
That was in 1972, I think. Yeah,
Right.
it went up to Alaska.
Really, that long ago?
Yeah. Let me think.
It had to be later than that. I think.
I could do it by asking like a really odd question to you. What was
Okay.
the first Star Trek that came out in the movies? Is that 79 or 80? Or is
That
it-
must have been like 80.
Okay, then that's when I bought it from her, because I bought that amp right before I went to Alaska, and when I left, it was from November, December, and January. In January, that Star Trek movie came out, so I went to see. So that's how we could.
Or 70, 79 or something.
Maybe 79, yeah.
79. I don't know. But I mean, because you had the Jose's by the US Festival time,
Oh yeah,
which would have been 81.
yeah. That's
So
the band that I was in was a cover band,
yeah.
and they didn't get it that if you wrote your own stuff, you don't have to play a club. You can go elsewhere, create your own stuff. It's hit or miss, or you can make $20 in a club a week.
Right.
For you, they didn't follow me or my advice. So
Well, I guess that's good. I guess maybe
I
depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, and it was 1979 when the Star Trek movie came out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that sounds about right. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty early though for with adopting the
And
Jose.
Jose, well, first of all, he was a wonderful person.
Yeah.
And he's a sweetheart, and he was way ahead of his time
Yeah.
for what he was doing. I mean, like, it's just none of those modern guys in that era did as good of a job as he did. Those amps sounded much better.
I mean, look, it was luckily that I met Rudy, because it introduced me to. I mean, that was like a few years after I'd gone to Alaska with that setup I just told you about, and he told me about Jose and the mods and stuff, and I was just like, my jaw dropped. I'm like,
Of course.
it's awesome.
You mean I don't have to put the LPB one in the back and?
No, I didn't. I could just like plug in and plug out to like a bigger amp,
So on the first Motley record, on the original record that Michael did, right? Was that a Jose, or was that just another Marshall with
that was the Marshall with the LPB one. And then it was later on. Let me think of where it was. It was somewhere after Shout at the Devil. I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was like, after that
Mm-hmm.
time, I was in between the maybe 83 or 84, maybe
Mm-hmm.
around that era, about that time. And it was all, you know what? It might have been around 83, maybe. I think that I used a Jose the US Festival.
Yeah,
82?
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that 82 or 81? I can't
That was
remember.
83.
83. Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you had Jose's there for sure.
Yeah.
Because the amp I worked on is pictured with the holes in it.
Okay. Yeah.
So there you go.
There it is. There it is.
Perfect.
And also we were talking about your live rig. So let's talk about your live rig. So I know that you're not currently touring or anything like that, but
Yeah.
the live rig that you were using just previously, you mentioned you had 7 different heads
Yes.
that were going on the tour.
Mhm.
And you mentioned there was a Marshall, I guess the Jose,
Mhm.
and then there was a Fryette VHT, you said?
That's a power amp, I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, okay. You had the power amp. Okay. And then a Soldano,
Yes. Rivera. How
and the
many
Soldano was like
I
an
count
SLO
the
one.
power amps as amps too. But I use let me see. Soldano, I mean, for head wise, it was Soldano, Marshall, uh,
Rivera.
Rivera. I used a 50-watt Marshall for a cleaner, bluesier sound when we played Home Sweet Home, and I ended up playing the piano parts on my guitar. Anyway, so 50-watt, 100-watt Marshalls, and so I guess as far as brand names go, like about four different of those,
Yeah.
VHT power amps, and that was it. But it was like,
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, the rig was a wet, dry, wet sort of rig, right? Where there's like a 3 cabinet kind of thing.
I would have 2 of the cabinets, well, 4 actually, in stereo, right and left, and up the center was just pure dry.
2, yeah, right.
Oh,
right.
I love that. That sounds glorious.
Yeah.
It's not going to suck.
No, that sounds freaking awesome.
That's fun to hit a chord through.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to get that set up here.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear it. I heard it live, and I'm just like, we got to have that sound.
Yeah.
We got to try it, man.
Yeah. I mean,
how would you?
With you know how Bradshaw works too. It's like I can plug in this stuff and get it at a whisper, but as long as it's moving air on the speakers, man, that's the part.
Yeah, you can turn it down, but when you have the wet, dry, wet kind of thing going on, it just sounds huge and massive, you know. And it's even if it's at a whisper volume, you know, it could be like quiet and still sound amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Would you use that just for recording? And
yeah.
And Chris, how would you go about recording like a wet, dry, wet setup like that?
Just mic every cab, buying the best speaker in every cab,
and figure out where to put them in the mix.
And to be honest with you, I've tried all different sorts of mic combinations. The 57 just always does the trick.
Of course.
I mean, with that many cabinets, if I've got to have that setup, put the 57 in the sweet spot on every single cabinet. We pan it right, and it's glorious. It's really that simple. It's the most complicated part is getting the rig the way he wants it out there, and then get it to sound the way he wants it in here. So
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's glad. And what kind of speakers are you using?
Kind of what?
Speakers.
Oh, Celestion 30s.
Finished 30s.
Finished 30s.
I mean, I got, everybody's raving about, the greenbacks and the old ones. I got a ton of those. But I kind of like the ones that they look like the old 75 waters, the silverback.
Yeah.
But in 30 watts, of course. And they sound really good. Really, really good, and really consistent on their sound. you know, like speaker power wise,
Mhm.
they're pretty close. There's like, you know, naturally going to be a speaker that's a little weaker than another, but it's pretty consistent with those speakers. And not well, not the ones made in China, but the ones that are actually the real
Mhm.
Roller Celestian.
Right.
I bought the last 40 of them made.
And now they're made in the UK again.
Yes.
They pulled all the production back to the UK now. So
Did they?
Did they? No, from Sweden?
All the Celestian pulled all the stuff from China back to the UK now.
Oh,
So all the vintage 30s, everything are now going to be made in the
I
UK.
did not know that.
Yeah, that's
makes me smile.
recent.
That makes me smile.
So, I mean, some of the stuff got pulled back a while ago, like the greenback speakers got pulled back a while ago, and now the vintage 30s are back too.
That's awesome. I got some really old greenbacks, 20 watts from the 60s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty nice, but you know, the difference I found in those is the 20 watts are, you know, obviously they break up a little faster and so on and so forth, but they have I don't even know how to explain it really. Other than that, the sound of them, when I use a 20 watt, it's like more of like a milky kind of a bluesy sound. I go to a 25 and they're sounding more like this with a, you know, a honkier tone. They sound good still, but
speakers are like a massive EQ.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's massively different on how they sound, and even from speaker to speaker, you know.
Yes.
And you know, I'm sure you can sit there in the one cabinet and mic all the speakers, record them all, and listen to them, and you're like, I think I like speaker 3.
You know what? I was a mean guy in that because I'd send a guy in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But these on. I don't know if you know who Randy Straub is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I would send him in there, and he'd find the correct speaker. And he'd go around the edge slowly like this until I stopped playing my guitar.
Yeah.
That's the sweet spot for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
sure.
That's lead into another rack over here before it went to tape to the board and stuff.
That's when Randy was working with Bob, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned a lot from him.
Randy Razor Blade.
Yeah, the razor blade.
Bob says hi, by the way.
Does he?
Yeah.
Say hey back to him.
Yeah. I see Bob kind of regularly on and off here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's still working.
Yeah, I know.
Here and there, what things he wants to work on.
Yeah. I never did get to do you know how he did through that stupid fire that was over there? Did he live?
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I asked him the same thing. I was texting with him when that was happening, and he's like, yeah, it literally burned because he has a big property there.
Yeah.
You know, with horses and all sorts of things. And it literally, he said it almost burned up to the barn.
Wow.
And the wind shifted, and it shifted it the other way.
Wow.
And it literally, he goes, he almost lost it all.
Yeah.
But it worked in his favor. So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Got lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Thankfully. Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the other questions I had for you, Mick, was you were a real early adopter of the Floyd Rose. And of the Floyd Rose, using the Floyd Rose bridge.
Yeah, of course.
Early on.
Yeah, early on. You were, you know, you put it on a Strat. I was just curious, you know, what influenced you with, you know, going down that path, how you got hooked up with the Floyd Rose early on. And
Jeff Beck. But my guitar would get out of tune, so I forgot who introduced me to Floyd Rose, but I don't know, because they're lockout and stuff. I could go like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mash stuff all that.
Yeah.
without a fear of it going out of tune and stuff. And I actually put one on a custom Les Paul that I had, not like the black normal custom, but a custom made Les Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt kind of bad because I traded one of my Kramers to this kid that had that guitar, but he wanted one with a whammy.
Mm.
So I traded him a Beretta for a killer Les Paul. Then I cut it up and
you weren't the only one cutting things up. I mean, I worked a lot with Ed Van Halen over the years, and he was notorious for just hacking the horn off something or something if it wasn't working for him.
That's right.
And it just the vintage guitars that were ruined in the pursuit of something.
Yeah, pursuit of something.
Pursuit of something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like he did the slide part on I think it was Center Swing or something, and he hacked the horn off the SG or whatever it was, or Les Paul SG or what, I can't remember, Junior or whatever. Hacked the horn off so he could reach all the way up with the slide.
Wow. That's cool.
Okay.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes to do it,
It's an instrument to use. It's a tool.
It wasn't about the aesthetic to him. It was all about the tone. And
it had nothing to do. He didn't care what year the guitar was made or anything. It was just, just like, well, let's route it for a pickup.
Okay. That's
exactly. Oh, speaking of pickups, do you have a particular preference on pickups that you use in your guitars?
I use his name doesn't, I don't remember his name, but I have him in pretty much all of my touring guitars, like Isabella and a few of the other ones. And I can't remember his name, but they're wound like a normal humbucker pickup is like 7.5, 8 ohms.
Mm-hmm.
Mine put out 16.
Okay.
So that's like, a little extra power for a
little hotter
for girth and stuff like that. I can't
JM Rolfe.
Thank you. That's him.
Internet is a wonderful thing at times.
Yes.
I that was on the tip of my tongue too. I was gonna say, I think I read it somewhere where, and then I just had to look it up real quick.
Yeah. So that's well, in the
did
back.
That come? You used to use though? Did you used to use a Duncan JB pickup?
I used the Dunlop 59s for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And then I actually found some old T-top ones that I had rewound to a 14.
Oh, okay.
And I used those for a long time too.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Let's jump into a couple questions here. Jay Busk, thanks for the super chat. You're my favorite guitarist and have the best tone. I think he's talking to you, Mick. I know he's not talking to me. So
I can see it on the bottom.
Prior to using V30s, what speakers did you use?
Always Celestians, but I used the first Marshall that I bought had 25s in it. But still, greenback Celestion, 25 watts. And that was my, like I say, my first Marshall. Now I just use 30-watt Celestians.
Yeah, gotcha.
But not the greenback ones. I used the I guess they're models they came
vintage
out with.
30s, yeah,
the vintage 30s.
Yeah.
And the other question was, what was your signal chain on Too Fast for Love? Were you using Jose's that early on?
I think you said the LPB one.
Yeah, the LPB one on a 100-watt Marshall.
Okay, that was my
70s Marshall.
Had some sort of master on it.
Yeah, with a master volume in the back, cranked up everything here, cranked up pretty much the LPB1. And that's where a lot of the tone came from, is that LPB1 too. Oddly enough, it's weird, but it did, and it worked, and it was
And
great.
a lot of people did stuff like that then. I mean, you know, there was no modified amps. It was just
I didn't know about, like all that stuff.
yeah.
Like
That's normal. It was normal for the time.
I just played everything 10 full treble. I didn't care.
Yeah.
Turn it up.
Club. This is a 12 capacity club. Okay. Everything else.
It's the way it should be done.
That's the way I think about it too.
Crank it.
I want to walk out with people's faces left on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. You want to see the faces peel off their head.
That's right. Like the guy that used to do the Memorex.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
That's such a great ad.
Yeah,
That was
it
such a good.
is.
Let's see. We got another question here. Das Alpha Walmut. Thank you. Can you get? Yeah. Can you give us a rundown of amps, cabs, mics, and recording techniques that you use for Girls, and Dr. Feelgood? And you're one of my favorite players. Wish you all the best, Mick.
Okay. I used which one was the first one? Girls.
Yeah.
That was pretty much of let me think. It was the Marshall I was talking about before that I had modded with the master volume and the LPB1. And I'm pretty sure that it was a stock 100 watt, and mostly just that other head. When on Girls, on Feelgood, and I first met Bob Rock, was just like a wall, not like this kind of wall, but just around the floor, everything from a box AC30 to I can't think of like all of them that were there, but
you probably had a Jose in there, and
I absolutely did,
and
I still have it.
if it's Bob, it's probably also there was probably a Mesa in there too, probably.
I don't
know.
I know that I used like I say the Marshalls, all that, the boxes and blah blah blah, and I also used Fender Super Reverb, and a lot of combinations of stuff and combinations of microphones and all of that, U87s, SM7, not SM7, that's newer, but an
This is 57.
57.
Yeah.
And 57s and 421s. Yeah.
Yeah. And like that, 414.
Yeah, that was what Bob.
Variety
Bob,
until I was hearing it in where I was sitting in the studio, which was behind the board, until I heard it sound the way I liked it up on the,
Yeah, it's interesting. Bob, that's how Bob kind of works. Like he'll that he told stories about when he got guitar sounds for John Sykes.
Yeah.
And he told stories about no one could get the guitar sound. He was just called in to just get the guitar sound. Right. And he did is he goes, it was simple. I go out in the studio, start with one mic and move it until he says stop.
Yeah.
Just like you just said.
Yeah.
And then a second mic, he'd move on a different speaker. He'd move it until he said stop.
Yeah.
And he goes, and you just blend them. There you go.
That's it.
Happy.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be complicated. That's perfect.
No. And he did a little trick. He said he did a little trick too, where he delayed two amps, and he delayed one amp just a smidge, just to get a little widening.
Separation.
Yeah.
And sometimes he would just turn on an amp, like I said, like the box AC30, just not mine. just so these mics could pick it up or whatever, like an ambient kind of a thing.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So it's all
Anything works. That's the thing. Experimentation is, if you get too complacent in what you do, that's no good, you know?
yeah.
No rules.
No rules. Anything
Yeah.
anything works.
That's true. That's true. 3J Music. Thank you, Mick. A 7-year-old me heard Shout at the Devil, and I said, I want to sound like this, what this guy does. My first guitar hero. So thank you for that.
Oh, well, thank you back. I don't know.
Well,
It's so cool to hear those things, and I never know what to say. It's, thank you.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to know, but it feels good, doesn't it? It feels good. Yeah, just
Absolutely.
well,
Absolutely.
yeah. Just for me,
Yeah.
I got to say, just for me that's sitting here and talking to you, Mick, I mean, 13-year-old me is remembering watching videos of you, I mean,
a 13-year-old me is thinking of that too. Yeah.
it's just wild, I mean, so I can't.
You
can't
guys
thank-
were 13, but I was 31.
Yes, I understand.
The 8-year-old me is wishing my dad would let me watch the girls.
Oh, there you go.
Because I love the sound.
Yeah. Oh my.
Sure.
The Dr. Feelgood album. Just Bob did such an amazing job on that album. It sounds huge.
The Metallica guys came in after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, what Bob said was, well, what sound are you looking for? And they threw down the Feelgood record and they go like that.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you can't deny it. You can't deny it. But for your perspective, Mick, what's your favorite guitar out like this of all the Motley Crue albums? For how your guitar sounded on any of those albums, what's your favorite album?
Motley Crue albums?
Yeah.
That one, Motley Crue, with what we did with John. I felt I got the best guitar.
Oh, with John Corabi.
Yeah.
That was Bob Rock too. So
that was Bob Rock too, but John Corabi was singing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that tone on that record of my guitars was great.
Oh, okay,
I
cool.
really liked it.
Yeah.
But it was not the hollow sound. It wasn't. It was a very solid, really smooth, milky sound to me. And I went like, thank you. That's cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
All
That's
right,
great.
cool.
That's great.
and that's news to me. So I'm like sitting here going,
We got to revisit that record.
Yeah, let's find out what that was.
Yeah. Well, the guitar sound on other side of Mars was really, really hard and in your face, and it sounded great. I mean,
Yeah.
I love how the guitar sounds on that.
Interesting story behind that, because I was called to do a test mix and master. The first song I did was Loyal to Lie. And then, he flew me here to come and finalize and work on, the final stuff. And I was only supposed to be here for a week, but we ended up being here for 2 weeks because I said, you know what? Because they were going off the Axe Effects tones, like the demo tones. And I'm like, you know what? You have all these amps here. You have all these cabs. You have all these mics. Let's mic up an amp. Let's get real with this. And that's exactly what we did. So that's the tone you're hearing. I think it's the Slow 100 and the Jose modded Marshall and the JMP back here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's it. So
It sounds great.
Well, I got to commend you, Chris, because the record sounds just bombastic. Like it's a record that begs to be turned up.
Yes.
And a lot of records these days don't beg to be turned up. It actually hurts. Like it's not. This only seems to get better the louder it gets. You know what I mean? And that's an important thing. It's like older records were like that.
Mm-hmm.
You could turn them up, and even if you go back to the Who or Led Zeppelin, the more you turned it up, the better it got. You know what I mean? And but newer records are just so crushed and just so brutally flatlined. It just, as you turn it up, it just sounds like hammered dog shit,
Well, I'm gonna give props to someone for this. Not too long about back 2000 2017, 18, I think it was. I was working with Dino Cazares from Fear Factory.
Mm-hmm.
And he was listening to mixes in his car. He's like, I'm like, wow, you're playing it so loud. He's like, well, that's how I know if frequencies are hurting my ears or not. If it sounds good when I crank it up, then your frequencies are spot on. So I'm like, bing, light bulb. So everything I did after that point was like, okay, I'm gonna work to get my mixes loud, and I'm gonna make it so your ears don't hurt. I'm gonna make it so that all the punch is there and the dynamics are there, but it's loud. It looks like a Snickers bar, but it doesn't sound like that, right?
Right. So that's the magic, you know. That's the thing. Yes.
So great you said that, because I appreciate that.
No, and I truly believe that. I mean, like, you know, I'll turn it in my car and like turn it up, and it's just like, oh, that's just bad. I want to turn it up more. You know, and that's
and not because it doesn't compete, but just because it makes you feel that, like, and it sounds good.
Yeah,
that's important.
Yeah, and it makes you want to. Yeah, it makes you feel something. You know, like. When I was a kid, I remember, you know, listening to music that way, and, you know, like you turn it up and you're just like, yeah, this is great, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's so much of that gets lost over the years, you know, as you get older and stuff. And it's like, I just think it was a brilliantly done, well done, well recorded record. So, yeah. And the songs were fantastic. So,
the Wizard.
I mean, I put the finishing touches on it, but the crew that worked on the record prior to me, you know, you got to give them props to Michael Wagener also.
Sure.
So
yeah, Michael Wagener recorded it really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He mixed and mastered really, really well.
Yeah.
And
so is that how that worked? Is Michael recorded a lot of the basic tracks, or did you record? You recorded some of the guitars?
Wagener did all the basic tracks before. Like I said, I came in when they were ready to mix and master. Like that was where the songs were. But you know, we had a talk when I was here trying to finalize stuff, and he agreed, and so that's how I got to retracking just some of the rhythm guitars. You know, all the leads and everything we kept.
The solos.
Yeah, the solos and stuff. So, but
got it. And did you record some of the other stuff at Michael's old studio, or did you record where you're at?
Some of it here and some of it at Michael's. But Jacob sang, I think, most of the stuff at Michael's. And
is Jacob going to be singing on this record?
Jacob? Now, I'm not trying to be like a weird butt man or anything like that, but I think I would like to have different singers.
Oh, okay.
Different things to move the next level for me.
Yeah, sure.
I just want to keep going and growing until I can't.
Yeah.
You know? And
I mean, Jacob did a great job singing.
Jacob's
amazing.
Jacob's great. He's I mean, he's a great musician, a great singer.
Yeah.
Very powerful and very clean.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. He executed the songs really well. Absolutely.
I look like a midget next to him.
Yeah, he's tall, man.
Tall, lanky dude.
He's
tall, lanky dude. I remember a long time ago, he was so where my shop is I'm across from, well, I don't know if you'll know this or not, Mates Rehearsals in North Hollywood here. And when Jacob used to play with Steven Adler, and there was a lockout rehearsal studio next to me, and that's where they would rehearse. And I remember seeing him all the time. And it's like, who's this Ramones looking guy? You know,
he's a sweetheart too. He's such a good dude.
He's amazing. You know, he's you know, got a little career going for himself with songwriting and everything and all the stuff he's doing.
Yeah,
for sure.
He helped me with my stuff too. I mean, like writing and so on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's great. Jim A5150, thanks for the super chat. Mark and Dave, hope you're well. Yeah, doing great, man. Mick, it's an honor. When I think of the Eventide, I think of Edward and you. what were your go-to settings with the harmonizer?
Uh,
That's a tough
Whatever
one.
Bob set.
probably just octave. You know,
You use it for pitch detune, right? Yeah, like
yeah,
a little. Yeah, so like
yeah. God, you know, I can't, I can't exactly remember because Bobby O, right, my tech,
mhm.
would set my stuff up and do different things. It's like I don't know exactly what he did because I had a little not a really blatant. I'm losing my mind. But a phase, not like a big giant fan, but just
Mhm.
something to move a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little. Generally speaking, it's a micro pitch shift in the
Yeah.
eventide that most people use, and it's just generally
Yeah.
speaking, it's a plus and minus 9 cents or something.
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
just a little thing, and that was the typical thing used. I mean, that started kind of, with Steve Lukather and all these guys, and with
Yeah.
Bob Bradshaw back in the 80s
Yeah.
and stuff, and
Just tucked underneath.
yeah, just tucked underneath just a little bit, and it just
Yeah.
sounds big.
Yeah, it spreads
Yeah.
it out very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it's good.
I didn't know how to explain that, but
Yeah.
the-
Well, I just butted in.
You know.
Dave's here to save you.
Forgive me, I butted in.
No.
Thank you. No,
Save the
that
explanation.
was right because
Yeah,
so,
you knew what it was. You just didn't know how to
I know
explain
what
it.
it is, but I'm going like, what? I didn't know like the settings and that stuff.
Yeah.
Like if I liked it, it was cool, and if I didn't, it was like, okay, fix it.
Right.
And not being
Right
a
on.
good guy, just
Yeah.
Mr. Anderson, Mick, if you had an access to a time machine at Area 51, what year would you want to go back to relive for your life, and what event would you edit if allowed only one intervention? Wish you all the best. Interesting
Ooh.
question.
Wow.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
So basically, he's saying if you could go back in time and you had one do-over.
My late 20s, probably, because I had a great childhood. Everybody does during the first 10 years.
Yeah.
Right.
When you start getting a teenager and stuff, everything starts getting to be real and hard. Like, I don't know. It's like I pretty much enjoyed my whole life. I just wish that I could have done what I did a couple of years earlier than I was. So
There you go.
I don't know
Yeah.
if that's what we're talking about.
How old were you when Motley started?
29.
29. Yeah.
Yeah.
Considerably older than everyone else.
I should have been like 18 or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
God, wasn't Tommy like
17.
17, right? Oh my God. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We get super chats and some of them are interesting. So the question on John 5,
Mhm.
would you ever work with John 5?
No.
And
No.
No, I mean, working with him in the studio. I went on when Zombie was playing here at the Bridgestone,
Mhm.
and I went on stage and played. I played one song with them. I can't
Mhm.
remember the name right now, but
Mhm.
yeah, that was fun.
No, that's cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got another one. Hey, Mick, do you ever regret selling the Jose Marshall?
I regret everything that I sell. I actually do. It was a little hard for me, but I was going over a little roughness myself.
Yeah.
We all
I
been
sold a
through
few
it.
guitars too,
Yeah.
which was not pleasant for me, but got to do what you got to do, you know.
Yeah, you got to
Yep.
make it. Yeah, yeah.
We all been there.
Yep.
We've all been there. I've sold quite a few things that I wish I had back. That's for sure.
Me too.
And Dave, he just Aravello 93 just bought a Wildwood 20.
Yeah.
So
Great.
killing that. Potato Man.
I like Potato Man.
Yeah. Hey Mick, just a question. Will Kramer ever reissue your Telly style guitar that you thought about?
Not that I know of. I mean,
They
I
should.
would say they could. I know that. I don't know if they would, if they are going to redo a Telly or something, but that was like me in those days when I played Kramer's. I went like, because everybody was playing Les Pauls and Stratocaster, and I went like, I want a Telecaster.
Right. So that was the mirrored one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
I mean-
girls one with the titties on the back.
Yeah. Here's an idea. They should reissue it and give you some money.
Oh, I wouldn't ask for any money.
Oh, they'll commission on it if they reissued your guitar that you used. You know,
Yeah, well,
you know,
they have your name on it.
yeah.
Here's what they would do. They would keep my name alive. You know,
Yeah,
That's
that
true.
kind of thing.
yeah, absolutely. You
I
know,
mean,
that's
I take that with me.
yeah.
know, whenever I go, whatever. I don't want to speak about that, but yeah,
Yep.
done it like Les Paul.
Yeah. The early days you had a black Les Paul custom, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or was it a standard?
Yeah, it's kind
What?
of, yeah. Yeah,
You don't still have that guitar, do you?
I actually was in one of those rough times.
Uh-huh.
Sold it to the Hard Rock Cafe in Florida. It's still
Oh,
there, along
okay.
with the original Superman suit, or whatever, the one with the blues, what harness thing on it and stuff.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, that's down there,
Oh, okay.
Wow.
still there. I think Jacob went to see it too.
Oh.
Is it Orlando or do you know
Um,
which Hard
It's
Rock?
at Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah, but which one? Which
Oh, the Paul you were talking about.
Yeah, but do you know which city
Which-
it was in?
which Hard Rock is
I'm unsure.
okay? Because I'm in Florida, so I was like, maybe I'll go.
That's all I would know.
Gotcha.
You
No
might be able
problem.
to find out somehow.
I'll look it up online.
Yeah.
Call Jacob. He knows.
Uh,
He knows more than me about my stuff.
Porky Low End. We actually answered this question. Hey Mick, what gear did you use on Too Fast for Love record?
we answered that one.
Yep. So thanks
Yeah.
for the super chat and thanks for hanging out with us. Fixed pedal boards. What's going on, Tim? True story. My 10th grade English teacher gave me one of her brother-in-law's guitar picks. Still have it. Mrs. Deal's class remains one of the only fond memories from Palmdale High. Mick effing Mars. Kick-ass show, cats.
Wow.
You had
That's funny.
Mrs. Deal was his teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder if she's related. I don't know. That's awesome though. That's cool.
That's funny. Thanks for the super chat, Tim. We appreciate it. J Bus says I was introduced to Motley 8 years. Wait, to Motley 8 years when I was 12. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Shout out the devil was the soundtrack for Stranger Things. I hope Mick knows his music is still reaching and inspiring young guys like me.
Oh, 8 years old. He's probably 8 years
Yeah.
old. Wait.
No, he said he was 12.
Ago. 8 years ago when I was 12.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, so you're a young one, Jay Busk.
That's
You're
awesome.
20.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So it's still reaching kids.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
I like it.
That's amazing.
I love it. It's awesome.
Well, listen to his new record
Yeah.
and wait for the next one.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Michael Easter, Mick, we can sing from memory so many of your riffs and solos. What's your secret to writing?
Well, there's no real like way that approach it. The way that I approach my solos is melody, and I, that fits the song, or you could like you said, it's just like you can hum it or sing it and remember it. And the way that I think is like it fits. Every song doesn't have to be like a notes to play as fast as you can, and they're just scales, right? And that's a good thing to know for loosening up and stuff. But I like to play the song for what it is and its melody.
And we were just talking about this last couple of days.
Yeah,
like, we're gonna approach solos. He's like, I'm not gonna. You got to be able to sing it. It's so funny that question was asked because
yeah,
we were just
but those are the things you remember.
Yep.
That's the important part. You
Yeah.
remember. I was having a discussion with a bunch of people several times, many people, but about how older songs, let's say from classics like The Who or the Eagles or things like this, right?
Yeah.
Not only is the guitar riff a hook, there's multiple guitar riff hooks in the whole song.
yes.
Solos are hooks, vocals are hooks.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many hooks throughout the entire song.
Yeah.
You remember every note. I mean, I can remember growing up as a kid and all these songs that I heard, and I can still to this day, Hotel California, I can think of every note in the whole song top to bottom, or Pete Townsend or something, or I just songs aren't written that way anymore, and I think there's something missing there. It's like
there's too much kitchen sink going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean just the hooks. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a little tiny guitar riff.
When I was like very young, and you speak of the Who, it's like my generation.
I love the Who.
And those guys like that. And it was like hook them to death.
Yeah.
The listeners, the people who buy the records, which I was one, and just listening to that, the hooks is what draws you in, really.
Yeah.
And
makes you remember the music.
Yeah, it takes you, I don't like referring to this way, but on the roller coaster ride, there's high points and low points, and there's moves, and it does stuff.
Yeah.
It's linear, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's there you go. That's my teachers, as those people.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like an important thing that seems to be very lost in modern songwriting these days.
I agree with that, but only because I'm geezed out. I'm like the old guy. I am now old school, and the next generation, the next coming up and stuff, are that. I'd love to be, when they're my age, here where they take the next level of music.
Right.
Yeah,
I'd love to
we don't be playing broken guitars and playing Home on the Range. Imagine those guys thinking about how I play.
Right.
So I love it. So I don't particularly like to have to say, oh, I love the new stuff, but I love the way that the younger generation is taking this in whatever direction they're going.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know, growing, changing, developing.
Sure.
Here's a
regressing.
Yeah.
In some ways, yeah.
I don't know.
Ways, maybe.
That's like an important part of me too. Is doing it and hearing it and listening to it.
All right, let's see.
My God, there's super chats for days.
Yeah, yeah. No more super chats, guys, because I don't want to keep Mick here for 3 hours. and Chris for 3 hours.
The what?
All right, we got a bunch of questions, so I don't want people to keep you here for too long.
Oh,
But we have let's see. Son of Pyro, thank you. Mick, I don't have a question. I just want to say that I fucking love your riffs and writing. I can't wait to hear your next project.
all right. Awesome.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Charles 75N, how did Mick start his guitar journey? What was your how'd you start playing guitar?
I went to a 4-H fair in Indiana, and I saw a country music guy playing on a picnic table. He was a real, musician. His name's Skeeter Bond. And I wasn't in kindergarten yet, so I was either 3 or 4 years old. I went, that's what I'm doing. And that's how I started out. I saw a country western guy at a 4-H fair.
And when you first started off, what kind of music did you want to play, or what were you into at the time?
I would just hear stuff on the radio that was popular back in the early 50s, and kind of copy that.
Okay.
Even though the guitar was, not tuned, didn't know how to tune it, but on one string, pick out the notes.
Right.
That was
Right.
it.
There you go. That's how you start,
Yeah, absolutely. And what was some of your early influences when you, like from a rock perspective?
Oh, there was a lot of blues. Michael Field and those guys, Jeff Beck and Hendrix and all of these people now from the 50s, but in the 60s and stuff, when I started like, well, there's this and there's this and there's this, and that's when I really started discovering what it is I wanted to, to really like, whoa, this has a lot of guitar in it. This, to move to that, and then it's weird because you find something else too. Then King Crimson comes along, and then you go, okay, play that. Yeah.
Right.
So it's all good. Yeah.
I have a question because I'm always curious. What were your thoughts when you first heard Van Halen?
I played with those guys so many times when I was in a band called White Horse, and they were so young. Edward was just 19.
Wow.
And they pretty much freshly just changed Van Halen and had David in the band.
Mm-hmm.
Heard them, and we played several times together at Gazzari's, at the Golden West Ballroom, all these places. Now it was just like the drummer and me from the band White Horse would always go, man, Van Halen's playing with us tonight. Van Halen. So I was knocked out when I heard them first time, just like I went, wow, so good, so good.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
It must have been an interesting time.
Huh?
It must have been an interesting time then.
Oh yeah.
With these bands just starting and coming out, and with you're in the scene, and all these bands are fighting for their piece of the, so many bands failed, and yet so many bands succeeded at the time.
Well, there are a lot of crummy bands and a couple good ones.
Yeah.
That was mean, but
Well,
it's true. It's true.
It's
It's true.
true.
It's
The cream rises to the top,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's for sure. Stan Mucha, I want to get to your question, but we actually answered this. Hey, Mick, was Shout at the Devil the early Marshall with the LPB1?
Yes, it was, Stan.
And the speakers were, we were saying
probably greenbacks at the time.
greenbacks.
yeah, the 25-watt greenbacks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another question from Jay Busk. What was the story behind the Kramer Tellys? I don't think they ever made them in the USA. I have one, but it was a Japanese domestic market one. Do you know anything about that?
I really don't know much about that. I mean, of course, when I was with Kramer, I had asked him to build me a telly, but I, like we said earlier, it's like I don't know if they're making them anymore. And
no.
so the
I haven't seen any newer Kramer tellies.
yeah,
No. I think they should. Why
Yeah.
not?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Kramer's owned by Gibson now, so it's like
Yeah.
Gibson is there. You should go talk to him about it.
I'm going to, and I got a great idea for something for them to make for me.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you.
No, I understand. That's fine. That's fine.
Let me put it this way. I was the first guy to put a Floyd on a Les Paul. And I got photos from when we were doing Dr. Feelgood,
Mm-hmm.
way before, with a Floyd Rose. And the front of the guitar, I didn't like the way it sounded. So I stripped the whole part off and spray painted it aluminum.
Oh,
So you can see pictures. Probably if you go on Pinterest or something, you can see photos of me standing there with my beret on and sitting there going, But it was the first one.
oh, huh.
And Sammy, Sammy Sanchez is?
I know. Yeah, I know of Sammy. Yeah.
He's the one who put it on for me.
Oh, okay.
It was like, kind of like rigged up a little high. Not cutting into the guitar, but he, had to cut the guitar, of course, to get. Anyway, I had, yeah.
So you were the first one to do the Floyd on the Les Paul
Yes,
before Neil Sean.
before Neil Sean.
Ah, look at that.
Yep. No, that's awesome.
So there should be a reissue Gibson Les Paul, just like like you're saying.
Oh, the way I said it.
Yeah,
Sammy said it.
that'd be cool.
No.
That'd be cool.
It was okay. It worked.
Yeah.
Now I've got this picture right here. I want to share it. Let's see. Here it is. I think this is the guitar you're talking about.
That's it.
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah. That's the one.
That's fucking awesome.
Yep.
Wow.
I wish I could have I wish I would have taken those pickups out before I gave it to John too.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Wow. That's killer.
That would be cool. So that goes way back. So that this was
back to 88.
predating the kind of silver chrome telly,
Yeah.
and but the same idea,
Mm-hmm.
kind of.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That is. I even like the paint job.
I actually really like it.
Even though
Yeah.
I smudged it a little bit by that pickup.
Oh my god, that would be so good to reissue.
Absolutely.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, that's the guitar. Yeah.
Go talk to them.
Nah,
They're close.
I don't play that,
Yeah, go talk to them. Why not?
Nah,
They might do it.
It's fun. This
It's
stuff's
fun.
fun. Like doing an amp, doing an amp, a guitar, or something for an artist and stuff. This is, for me, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun stuff. What do you want? What do you want to do? Okay, let's do this. It's good stuff.
I could do this. Hey, I taught you how to put a Floyd on a Paul. How about making me this?
Yeah.
And
No, really.
for you guys.
I'm not joking. I think there's so many other. Why not? So many other artists have done this stuff, and they have fun with it. Maybe they sign them all or something. And you're so close to them. That would make a lot of sense to me.
You know what? When YouTube stars are getting signature guitars, I think Mick Mars deserves a signature guitar.
That's right.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
Yep.
You of all people deserve a signature guitar. So you shouldn't even have to go to them.
Thank you, Mark.
No problem.
But, I don't know. Ernie Ball wanted to give me one, but it was like, it was like I wasn't touring. It was the final tour, that era. And, and I said, you know, I would really like it, but what I wasn't touring, so I wasn't like showing the guitar off around
Yeah.
the world. And I
Right.
thought, you know, that would be cheating to me.
Yeah.
That would be cheating.
Yeah,
No.
Here's all the
but like
have your Ernie Ball guitar and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting here going like, nobody's seeing it.
yeah.
So that's the way I thought about
But
it.
the historic story behind the Les Paul with the Floyd Rose on it and how
Mhm.
you painted it, this is a marketing story that could be totally told, you know, and it, you know, and there'll be some people for sure that would want this guitar, you know, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I never even knew about that guitar, so that's like new to me right now, and,
Yeah.
and I'm like going, wow, that's cool. And I'm not really a Les Paul guy.
Yeah.
I like Strats a lot, you know, but
Me too. Me
I like
too.
Strats and Strats with humbuckers, sort of like you have, you know,
Yes.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my. I never was real comfortable with how a Les Paul felt, but
Yeah.
that story still though is something that, you know, is
Got a history.
got a
Yeah.
history. So there's something to that.
Yeah.
And this is, you know, coming from marketing. You know, it's just marketing
Yeah.
behind something. Yeah.
Yep. Todd Neiman, thanks for the super sticker. No question there. We appreciate it. Charles Green, thanks for the super chat. Hey, Mick, this is Chuck. I was the backstage bouncer at the Whiskey back in the very beginning. I tell stories on YouTube from time to time, and your name comes up all the time. I wish you the very best, bro. Rock on.
All right. Cool.
That's cool.
Wow.
Okay.
Like back in the day.
That's awesome. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was the days when, you know, your knees knocked a little bit because you're going like, I'm going out to play at the Whiskey. You know, that's like, you know, on the Strip in those days was like, that was the thing, the Strip,
Yeah.
the Troubadour, you know, playing those places. Yeah.
Which was exciting, right?
Good
I mean,
days, man.
those are good days, I'm
Oh, yeah.
sure. We mentioned the US Festival a while ago.
Mhm.
I mean, that was such a huge crowd. What were your thoughts going on stage for that, and you know, and how that took place?
That was so early for you guys too.
Yeah.
That was in '83.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was like, it was an awesome thing. I mean, when I was like younger, 16 and 17, Woodstock, right?
Right.
Like,
Sure.
started in 1969. I was going like, man, I wish I could go there and check it out. But then I'm playing into the US Festival, like with all these people there too, and I'm going like, whoa, you know, it was. That's what was kind of going through my head, you know.
It was like Woodstock.
my own Woodstock, because I lived through it, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to really like. I can only envision it, but it was absolutely cool.
Yeah, that was your Woodstock, so to
Yeah.
speak, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, yes. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you
that was
for
your
that.
Woodstock. Yeah.
And you guys had a killer show.
And for a lot of, you know, yeah, I mean, that's such an iconic show, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wish I would have been. Well, I guess if I actually lived in California, maybe I could have gone.
Yeah.
I lived in
Were you
Detroit at
even
the
born?
time.
Were you even born then?
Yeah,
Probably?
dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I was born in 1968, so hey, I'm 55 now. So
Yeah,
Oh,
same
still a
here.
youngster, I guess.
That was
But
my high school graduation, by the way. 16.
okay, well, that's good.
That.
But I'm old enough.
Yeah.
My first concert was The Who.
Yours?
Yeah, 1981.
Nice.
I was a resident of Detroit at the time, and at the Pontiac Silverdome in Detroit, I saw The Who in 1981. Eminence Front Tour.
Nice. Now,
This was unfortunately like after like the really heyday of The Who, I think. But
Right.
you know, but
You
they
got
were
Kenny
cleaned up.
Jones.
They were cleaned up then.
Yeah.
And you know, it was still great. was still great. It was.
Did he
the-
have any mics on his amps?
They had mics. Yes, he had mics.
Oh,
He had his high watts still.
he wasn't playing loud enough then.
No, yeah. Well, you know
No,
that's Pontiac Silverdome was I think it was 80,000 people.
Yeah.
So, or something around there. So that was a huge,
Oh yeah.
stadium.
Definitely.
And so yeah, no, it was the Clash, Eddie Money, and the Who.
I think.
That was the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I remember. No, I saw something today when I'm doing my stupid Instagrams and stuff where I saw Eddie Money standing on the stage back there, and I was like, I wonder if that's the same.
It's fun. It's funny
but
because
I don't know. Eddie Money was pretty young.
we had
Awesome. That's awesome.
we had a guitar player on the show, Steve Ferris. Steve Ferris played with Mr. Mister, and he played with Eddie Money at the time.
Uh-huh.
And we mentioned this, and he goes, "Wait a minute, I was there. Was playing with Eddie Money."
That's right.
And
That's
I'm
right.
like, "Well, that's good." I was like, I don't know, 12 or something.
Whoa.
That's wild. That's talk about coming first full circle. I remember that. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I was playing his song, "Baby Come Back to Me" or whatever the name
Mm-hmm.
was, in a club band.
Yeah, cover band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you
That's
go.
Exactly.
You were 12 seeing them alive, and I was playing them at 20 on stage.
There you go.
At a club.
Why not?
Eddie Money was, he's an underrated artist, Eddie Money.
Eddie Money was great.
Yeah. Really, really
Come on.
great. Great songs.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Sloppy Fingers, thanks for the super chat. Greetings from Ottawa again. My pal is over for a Friday night jam and wobbly pops, so we'll watch later. Mick, kudos and having the best tone ever, and thanks for being our youth soundtrack.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Yeah.
I want to know what wobbly pops is.
I don't know. It could mean anything. I guess.
It could mean anything, man. I don't know what wobbly pops are.
Neither do I. That must be a Canada
That's a Canadian thing, must
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Canadian thing.
Eh?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what part of Canada you're in with a.
True. It depends.
Yeah.
But that doesn't sound French. Wobbly pops. That sounds like an A kind of area.
If he's from Ontario, I think that would be it. Right?
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
decided to go A. Yeah.
Serious amplification. Thanks for the super chats. That Mark said no more super chats.
Thank you for paying money to tell everyone that.
Yes,
Alex.
Oh.
we appreciate that.
We know that guy, Alex. He's awesome. Chat from Australia.
How you guys doing on time? You got a few more minutes to hang, or are you gonna you need to roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
I live here. He's just visiting.
He's visiting.
Yeah. No.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were Chris. Where are you from?
Well, I'm in Las Vegas now.
Oh, you're in Vegas. Okay. I just came from there. It was freaking hot, man.
Yeah, and I'm soon to be a resident here. So
Oh, you
yeah?
move?
yeah, gonna move in
Oh.
the next couple of years. So
Oh, cool.
Nice.
all this guy now.
I like it. I like it there better than like the desert.
Yeah, I don't mind it, and I do love it there. It's a simple life, but something's
Yeah.
called here, so including this guy. So
You know, hey.
Thanks, Chris.
That's cool.
make it happen.
Yeah,
good.
Vegas is fun, but I got you.
It's a lot different when you live there. A lot different. So
I would think so.
Is that good or bad?
for me, good, because you vacation there. I lived in California for 30 years, so it's like you travel there. Ooh, going to Vegas,
Yeah.
And then you move there, and it's like then first few months you're like going to casino, but then you get out of the way, and you're like, okay.
No, yeah. I'm
When
not
you
that
go-
into the desert. That's my problem.
Yeah, well, I was sort of in the desert too in California and Santa Clarita, so that's sort of
Well, yeah, sort of. Not really though. There's trees.
that's true.
But But I don't know. I'm not that into the desert, man. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people see a lot of beauty in the desert, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I grew up in like Michigan, which is like full of trees and green, and you know, it's like.
Well, that's what I love. That's why I want to come here. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. So I don't know. Well, good move.
Doing it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Porky Low End. We did talk about these, the JM Ralph pickups, and he said that they were 16 ohm,
16K.
16K. Sorry, yeah, 16K. Why did I say 16 ohms? 16K. Yeah,
16K is very different than 16 ohms.
Yes, that is very
16
different.
ohms would be almost not an output. It almost be
That would be
zero,
a
zilch, almost zilch.
Do you know what?
I did say ohms. I'm the one that messed you up.
Oh, maybe, but I don't know.
No, I think it was me. But do you happen to know what magnet? If they're A2, A5?
Nickels, I believe.
Alnico 5, probably.
Yeah, I prefer the nickel. It's softer. And it makes a lot of difference. It really does.
Oh, for you're talking about frets?
The magnets.
Oh, the magnets.
Yeah, the magnets are
Compared to ceramic.
I'm not like
compared to ceramic, yeah.
But the way I can, if like I take a Seymour Duncan that says the 59s and it was just Alnico, right? There's like, that's why he has Seymour Duncan has different pickups because they're sounding like Pearly Gates.
Yeah.
That's one that Billy Gibbons.
Yeah.
Pearly Gates, and they're too bright to me.
Okay.
And so, like the warmest one that I used was mostly the 59, and I still have some guitars with the 59 by Seymour on them. Yeah,
59 is a good pickup.
You know, it's one of the few pickups that I haven't tried. I haven't
59,
tried
59. Here's the thing about a 59. A 59 will always just sound good.
Yes.
You know, like it's not real hot. It's on the brighter side. But it will just always sound great. Yep. You plug it in, you're just going, well, that's good.
That works.
That's how I look at it. You know, that works. You know, if you want a little different color, a little different thing, you know, okay, sure. You want a little hotter, you this or that. But, you know, there's something to be said about the original 59. It's a great pickup.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yep. This is a good question. Mick, what about slide? You know, you've done some great slide guitar solos, and
I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, no problem. How did you was slide something that you picked up and tried to, you know, work on technique, or you just pick it up every once in a while? I'm just curious.
Dwayne Allman.
Yeah.
That's about what I could say. When I heard that stuff, I was just like, what? You know, so it's like, yeah, I learned a style. I like my own style, but I took from Dwayne Allman probably more than anybody, because he was like the slide player back in, you know, when I was younger. And God, I don't know. That's where I got it from.
Well, that's certainly a great place.
Yeah, of course.
So Chris, when you were recording on the last album, can you describe, are you guys using Pro Tools, or, you know, is that how the recording process is? And can you talk about like any of the, you know, the equipment that you're using for recording? Yeah. Well, actually, I know Michael Wagener did the last one, but we'll talk about this one.
Yeah, Michael Wagener started. I just learned from Mick today. He was using Nuendo since Nuendo came out, and that's where the session started. But we're working on Pro Tools here. That's been the DAW of choice. That's been my DAW of choice ever since, you know, I decided to get into digital recording years ago. But yeah, I mean, the outboard gear is just some 500 racks and we didn't get really too crazy. I mean, as far as the guitar chain, I think I was using the Neves. He's got the 500 series Neves 1073s. I think we were using a lot of those for the microphones. 57 121 combo. I think was on 2 different cabinets for 2 different amps. And then, but yeah, we were running Pro Tools was the tape machine. You know? So that was the thing.
Gotcha. We just got a few more questions that we'll run through, and I just again want to thank both of you guys for coming on the show tonight. It's just been fantastic.
Awesome.
Rock and roll. Thanks for the super chat, Mick. I'm embarrassed to ask, but you are a hero to me, and you have been the soundtrack of my life. And by the way, rock and roll, we did answer this already. He goes, here goes. Is there any chance you could talk about the creation of your guitar tone for Dr. Feelgood album?
Yeah, we did talk about that.
We did talk about that. So
just a combination of different amps, different microphones, of course, all that stuff. But what was to me the first thing to me is the most important is to be able to go to tape flat. So it's like having it EQ'd on a whole different thing, so that my stuff is exactly what I want to hear.
Mhm.
So it's there's a lot to it instead of like, just sticking a mic up to a speaker for me,
yeah.
anyway, because I'm really a stickler about tone a lot.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that's what we're all about on this show.
Yeah.
So Chris, here's a question for Chris. Have you learned anything from Mick?
A few things. I mean, I don't know. It's like I've worked. The biggest thing I learned from working with artists of this caliber is that they're just normal people like you and me. And
Yeah.
When I met Mick and I started, because Mick was a big one. I mean, obviously David Coverdale is a big one. George Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then working with the Korn guys is a big one. But this was a little different, because once I met Mick, it was like, okay, you guys are all like, everyone's like there's a great personality. It's just, they're all humble. They're just people like you and me. If that's the biggest thing I've learned from Mick or anybody of this stature, it's that. You walk into a house, it's like, okay, whatever, yeah. I go, wow. You're wow when you drive up to but when you talk and you're intimate one-on-one conversations like this, it's like the biggest thing I learned is that they're all people just like you and me. They've just had success than you and I had, or whatever. They've had a different ladder getting here. And if I'm going to say the biggest thing, that's the biggest thing. Just he's such a great dude, and it's been an honor to work with him. So
I can get mean.
That's okay.
It's my job.
You know what? If it calls for being mean, you need to be mean. I mean, it's just like you can't let someone walk all over you. So.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But,
right.
But it has to be a really bad person for me to get mad. It takes a lot.
It's my job to create a good atmosphere and just be a good creative soul for him. You know,
and you are.
Help him put whatever's in his head.
Yes.
Out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the vibe, man. I love the vibe. It's that's cool.
Nice.
Yep, absolutely. Wasabi, thanks for the super chat. Mick, did you play the solo on the song Generation Swine, or was that Rick Nielsen? What didn't you play on the Motley catalog before Saints of LA?
Before Saints of Los Angeles, Generation, you played the solo on Generation Swine. I can't remember the song, to be truthful, because I didn't care much for the album. And it was really a difficult album for me to do. And so I don't even know. Maybe, Rick Nielsen's a bud of mine. So maybe he did. I don't know.
Okay.
With me, though.
No problem.
That's fine.
This is the last question we've got. Oh, we got one more. No more questions, guys. Stop sending them in. Which pickups did your Kramers have in Good Girls, and Dr. Feelgood records? Do you know what the pickups were in your Kramers?
I believe they were the. I think when I first got girls. Okay, I definitely had the 59s and those, the Kramers and Dr. Feelgood. I discovered the Rolf ones and the extra winding ones after the fact.
Yeah,
that I did. I met, let me think. I may have had my main guitar with a T-top that was overwound to 14.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Cool.
I used so many guitars on there.
Oh yeah, and you're remembering back how many years now? Like,
Well, I can remember. I was but
but you lose some fine details a little bit. You're like, wait a minute, was that then or that then?
yeah,
I was using that or that.
Yeah.
I mean, I even do that. I mean,
yeah.
absolutely. Matt Stewart, Dave, thanks.
Matt, yes, you super chatted last show we did. Yes, hello to Susan, and I hope you're rocking those cabs empty cabs I gave you. Well, I didn't give you bought them.
Yes.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on. I think we've gone through all the super chat questions. Question here: what would life be like without Mick Mars? I don't want to think about that. So, I mean,
He's still here.
He's still
making a record.
He's making another record. Exactly. And I can't wait to hear it. I mean, seriously,
Maybe a medical miracle that you're still here.
It might be. I don't know.
I don't know, man. You're yeah. Fortunately, all like you've said before in your interviews that it hasn't affected your hands. All your
Definitely has.
It's weird because
yeah, you can move everything else.
This is not a show. It rarely goes into your hands.
Yeah.
Or your feet.
Yeah.
The parts are all open to it.
Yeah. Well, you're still walking around, and you're still like you're still there. You're still here. Yes. Touring is harder now.
My next album Quasimodo.
Okay.
Well,
I
hope you're feeling good, man.
I feel great. Yeah.
Good.
That's good. That's great.
Awesome to hear. Yeah, just Chris, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. You too.
And Mick, yeah, just both meeting both of you guys. Thanks to everybody who's watching the show. Make sure you click subscribe and click the bell, and if you're not a subscriber to the channel, and let's see, you guys just hang on while we say goodbye. But thank you so much. To check out Mick's album, The Other Side of Mars. If you haven't downloaded that album,
do it.
Okay, seriously, like go out if you're
go out and buy it.
Yeah, buy it. Exactly.
Yeah, please.
By the way, I bought it because I'm a firm believer in buying albums.
Thank you, David.
Because in this day and age, I don't believe in not buying it. I'll just buy it for $10. Come on.
I do that,
It's the price of a coffee.
Yeah.
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 Yes,
Isn't that crazy? That's the price of a coffee.
Yeah.
That's scary, isn't it?
Crazy.
Yeah, guess what? You just pee it out.
Yes, exactly.
You put it on any time.
Pee the coffee right out.
That's right.
That's so
Straight
funny.
out.
Well, yeah, guys, thank you so much for staying on. You just hang on while we say goodbye while I end the show. And everybody have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
All right.